All right, let's go ahead and use the puppet warp to do some adjustments as well. So in this case, as I work, I'm noticing that my mask was a little bit off. It would behoove me to go in and correct that. And I need to do that on all of the layers, but I'm not going to do that right now because that's not what this demonstration's about. This demonstration's about doing edits. I'm going to hit up this shoulder and just smush it a little bit, rotate it a bit. All right, so that needs to be done on the main pattern right here. I'm going to go over to the Edit Puppet Warp option. Okay. I'm going to do a more point because I imagine if I need to come back here at any point, I'll need more points. And I'm going to grab some pins by clicking, 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 clicking. And remember, my mask is not connected, so I won't warp my mask as well, which is exactly what we want. We don't want our mask to be destroyed due to any of this. Now, that said, I'm also going to pin around the whole figure just a bit. Here we go. Here we go. This is a bit boring, so let me just use some magic. Now I have the entire perimeter. Oops. Should have grabbed my navigation tool. Not to worry. I can go back in because it's a smart object, and all of my pins will still be there. I have the whole perimeter pinned in so that I won't grab anything else. All right, I want to zoom in, so what am I going to do? I'm going to go to Window, Navigator. Now I have access to my zoom. All right, so now I'm going to fence in this area. Right in here. Okay. Make a pin, hold down the Alt key, rotate this a little bit, and move it up just a smidge. Same over here. I already have a pin here. Let me get rid of that one. Put it over here instead. Not there. Here. All right. Alt key, rotate just a bit, and drag it up. And apply. Let's take a look. So watch this shoulder. Let me zoom in a bit. Watch this shoulder. Before, after. Just a slight difference. Before, after. That slight difference adds realism. You'd want to do that to this shoulder as well, rotating it and sliding it up just a bit. And yeah, why don't we do that? We've only been doing the puppet warp for 3 minutes. Let's show it one more time. Come into the puppet warp I've already worked in so that I don't have to do everything again. Sometimes you'll need to do a second puppet warp depending on where the pins are and how you have to approach it. In this case, they're on opposite sides, so they should be okay. All right, so fence it in, add a point, rotate. Let's see, that way looks pretty good, and warp. And I've overdone it. Just a bit. Here might be a good place as well. It's claiming I'm too close to the back. That's probably true. All right, rotate. And warp. Okay, let's apply that. And now before. And after. There we go. It looks as though there's some stress being placed on the fabric now. All right, that's how you'd use Puppet Warp to start doing modifications to larger areas. Now for this, this would require more Liquify tool. You could also use Puppet Warp to push closer. Let me show you that one. Well, I like the Liquify tool. All of this area would need to be pushed in. So let's try it with a Puppet Warp real quick. You can see that it's a very drastic effect. And in all likelihood, you would need to spend a lot of time fencing it in. prior to moving it over. So for areas like this, I would recommend the liquefy tool instead, just so that you can push it over the edge. Everything has its own strength. Puppet warp is great for adding strains and slight rotations to things, but the liquefy is better for having things bend around and curved around, with liberal use of the thaw mask, and of course the freeze and the thaw mask. And of course for the liquefy, just use the marquee tool to start your mask off. It will save you a whole lot of pain later. For example, we've got this liquefy here. Be a great time to go in. And one other thing, really a good idea to do all of your liquefations before you do your puppet warping, or all of your puppet warping before you do your liquefations, so they don't end up interfering with each other, which would be a very nasty piece of work to correct later. All right. Okay, pop back into liquefy real quick. It's giving a warning about how smart layers stack on top of each other, so if you edit one below, it may have odd effects, which is another reason why you want to kind of take care of everything in one go. Okay. And before, after, before, after. You want to do that for each of these streaks so that they bend in. And that would be the liquefy. Anytime you have these large curved areas that need to have a little bit more bend to it, the displacement map didn't really affect it because the lightness on this plane is about the same, but we know as humans that the fabric would be stretched and pushed. So we'd need to come in there, correct it. Want to do the same sort of thing for the neck. So that's the, yeah, that looks a lot better. That is the puppet warp and a little more liquefy. Okay, see you next video.